Alright, good morning Wasteland. Mr. G bringing you guys another hot tutorial. This one coming from Commodore 1983. He did an excellent job. Thank you to him. So no credit for me, that's all Commodore. Here you go. Cabins and modules. Choosing your cabin. Choosing what cabin you want on your build is a complex task. You have to consider things like energy points, mass limit, power score, speed, and your budget. The most effective builds have cabins that synergize well with their movement and guns. If you're looking to keep an eye on your power score, sometimes using a lower rarity cab can be a good choice over an epic or legendary cab. The next question to consider is heavy versus light. One of the main decisions you need to make is the speed of your car. Different cabs have different speeds. Light cabs will have a higher top speed but a lower mass limit. Heavy cabs can hold much more health but have fewer energy points and are slower. The best choice is to choose a style of cab based on your guns and movement. If you plan on playing a shotgun build on wheels, using a cabin with a top speed of 60 kilometers per hour is just not a good idea. In general, decide if your build is best suited to slow movement and large amounts of health, or if you value quick speed and quick engagement. Example, this 60 kilometer cab is too slow for these melee weapons, everyone's just going to run away. Example of one that works, match your cabin speed with your weapon range by pairing your melee with a fast car. Next up, cabin perks. Cabins of epic rarity and above have unique cabin perks that can make your build vastly more effective when paired correctly. You might not have many options as far as your budget if you're a new player, but if your cab's perk does not pair with your guns, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. If you want to, right now, pause this video and look up Mr. G's cabin tier guide, give you a basic idea of which cabins in the game are most effective overall. Alright, back to perks. So, if your cab's perk doesn't pair with your guns, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Read up on the perks, decide what kind of gun you like to play, find a cabin that benefits those guns. Every epic and legendary cab has a perk that benefits some type of gun in the game, so there's something out there, you just gotta look for it and find it. Example, Quantum Cabin only buffs energy weapons. Using it with shotguns has no advantage. Example here that works. The favorite cabin provides benefits for heat-based weapons and is a good pick for shotguns. Also, you need to consider your cabin positioning. Knowing where to place your cabin on your build can impact your performance. This can depend a lot on the type of guns you have, but take note of cabs that have certain perks that require certain placements. For example, the Bastion cab takes half damage to its frontal plow, so you want that at the front of your rig. Also pairs nicely with Goliath tracks on the side, really armoring up your build. The Machinist cab requires that you have guns mounted to your cab, so you're going to want to make sure that you're putting it somewhere where it's feasible to mount your guns. You can hit F on any cabin and see which weld points will allow you to hide things in certain areas. A lot of cabins are designed in really interesting ways where you'll have unique places to hide things like ammo boxes and modules. Speaking of modules, that's up next. Modules will support your guns and round out your build. Knowing what to use with your car will increase your combat ability, so you want to choose modules based around your guns. Some modules will benefit your guns, and others will have no effect or will actually be a detriment to your build. For guns that use ammo, you're going to need ammo boxes. For guns that are heat-based, you're going to want to use radiators and coolers. Even though a real-life machine gun needs ammo, in Crossout, adding an ammo box to your machine gun build is a bad idea because it's explosive and it provides no benefit. Similarly, adding a cooler or radiator to a build with reload weapons will not cause it to reload faster. It will use up your energy points on worthless modules. Also, if you're still using a car jack, just get rid of that and use that one energy for something else. Next up, let's talk about fuel. Fuel tanks are a way to increase your rewards per battle. You can equip one white rarity fuel barrel and one blue rarity fuel tank. If you win a match with your fuel tank intact, you'll gain 5 fuel from the white, 10 from the blue, for a max of 15 fuel. Any additional fuel tanks do not stack. You'll have no additional gains. Also, they're highly explosive, like generators and ammo boxes. So hang around to the end of the video to learn how to place those. Generators. A generator is one of the most valuable modules in the game. Hence, they named one of them the Big G. Thank you, Tarja. Each generator will increase your total energy by a certain amount depending on rarity. Some generators are heavy and have high health. Some are very light and have low health. Building your car around how many weapons and modules you need will show you which generator you need on your build. In general, using the low durability generator is risky due to their tendency, to explode, damaging, crippling, or killing your car. Next up, engines. Some modules don't affect your guns, but will have a positive effect on your build. Engines provide power, more maximum speed, and mass or tonnage gains to your vehicle. Knowing which engine is best for your build is a useful skill. If you're running at a tonnage or mass limit, find an engine that adds to it. Other engines have other perks, so read up on those and find out what works best for your build. Some engines cost 1 energy, but a few of them cost 0 energy. Next up, radars. So you would think Mr. G never uses these, but I really should. That mini-map's important. This game has 2 types of radar detection. They're the radar dishes that cost 0 energy and the radar detectors that cost 1. The advantage of a radar detector is that you can see enemies on the minimap even when they're hidden behind a cover. You're also transmitting that information to your teammates. Having one person on your team with a radar detector can make or break your game. Also, you can put on a radar dish for 0 energy and a radio and do similar, being able to transmit that information to your team. Next up, cloak and cloak countermeasures. Cloaking in this game makes you invisible for a short time and can allow you to change position in stealth. Taking any damage will remove you from invisibility. Cloaking will also cause all homing missiles and drones to lose targeting, and while cloaked, you'll not activate mines. There are also multiple countermeasures to cloak that each cost 1 energy. If you find you have a lot of spare energy, equipping one of these to detect enemies in cloak can be helpful to you and your team. Other modules. Some other modules are more specialized, like the Argus, which destroys mines, and the Aegis, which protects you from damage, but these tend to be reserved for higher power score play, and they're expensive. But they can work well in certain situations. Read the perks, decide if it's useful for you. Lastly, how do you place your modules? The most important part of placing your modules is protecting your explosive parts. If you leave them exposed, an enemy can shoot them to deal massive damage to your car. Instead of doing that, make a gap in your frames, undermount them, and make them harder to hit. However, some weapons like scorpions and certain cannons and fire weapons are going to pop them regardless of position. Still, you're going to want to be aware of how you're building, and you can undermount most modules. But hiding explosive ones is the most important. Take a look. This car is an example of how not to do it. It has an exposed fuel barrel and an exposed generator. Don't do that. Here's an example of hiding fuel barrels under the frames to protect them from most damage. Exceptions: some builds will use fuel barrels and ammo packs suspended on long sticks in front of their vehicles, using them as rams so that explosion damages the enemy. This is a more advanced technique, but it can be useful in certain situations. As always, experiment, find what works for you, because my favorite part of Crossout is the garage, even though it's been a long time since I've gotten in there and done some building. So get in there, get building, and if I miss any valuable tips, veteran players, put them down there in the comments. You guys that are new to Crossout, hope this helps you. Catch you on the next one. Mr. G